Hey y'all, Miss Lee here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about comparing rates. Specifically, this is different from comparing ratios and like other types of rates. Specifically, when they're asking you which is the better buy. When they're like, store A has this on sale for this much, store B has this, which one's the better buy? You feel me? I know some of you guys hate those questions, but this is just the way that probably your teacher taught you to do it, but here we go. Here's some practice. So I'm gonna write down my steps as to what I do. All right, so step one, what I do is I set up what I know in fraction form. And hint, hint, try to make sure that the number that's gonna turn to one is on the bottom. Sometimes they'll like set it up differently. For example, in the example that I'm using, I'm setting it up so if you just put the numbers first and last, like it's a little more difficult. All right, so, and then step two, you find your unit rate, which means when you guys find unit rates, you're generally dividing, which I know you don't like to divide. However, a lot of times when you're dealing with money, it's easier to divide it than to set it up and cross multiply. Because if you set it up and cross multiply, you're multiplying a lot of decimals. And then if you're not the greatest at multiplying decimals, you're moving decimals and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it just doesn't really work out. I have more students mess up when cross multiplying rather than just dividing. So here we go. And when I divide, I use my dividing rules, times 10 times 5 times 5. So here we go. You can buy 3 hoagies for $4.95, or you can buy 4 hoagies for $6.72. For all my East Coasties, I just want you to know, people out in the West don't call them hoagies, and they don't even know that they're hoagies. They're like, what's a hoagie? A hoagie is a sub in their terminology. So here we go. I'm gonna set up what I know for the first one. Now, I said that I want whatever is going to turn to 1 on the bottom, because when you're in a unit rate, the number generally on the bottom is 1. So here we go. I'm buying 3 hoagies for $4.95. Now, this is what you have to ask yourself. Am I trying to find out how many hoagies I can buy for $1? No, because if it's like a third of a hoagie, no store is going to sell you a third of a hoagie. It comes as they have it. It's either this, this, or this. Boom. Okay. Or are you trying to find out how much one sandwich is? Right. You're trying to find out how much one sandwich is. So my hoagies are on the bottom. 3, and I put H for hoagies. And then that is $4.95. So here we go. That's what I know. What I'm trying to find out is how much one hoagie is. Okay, so here we go. Here's our relationship. How do you get from 3 to 1? You would divide by 3, but guess what? Okay, if you watch my like dividing and stuff like that, I don't know if I talk about 50 to you guys, but I call it 50 because I'm a millennial and we love 50 cents. So I like my play on words is 50. So first in, top in. In fraction form, the top number goes inside. So this number goes on the outside. Do I have space up here? Yeah, I do. No, I'm gonna do it right here. So 50, first in, top in, 495 goes in. Now, I don't have a decimal on the outside, so I'm just gonna take this thing right on up. 3 goes into 4, 1 time. 3 times 1 is 3, I'm left with 1. I bring down my 9. 3 times what gets you close to 19? 6. 3 times 6 is 18. I subtract, I'm left with 1. I bring down my 5. 3 goes into 15. 5 times evenly. I'm not going to finish that. So this one sandwich is $1.65. I wish hoagies were that cheap. Okay. All right. Give me a second. All right. Next one. So I already set up my blank one and then the 1 hoagie here. And I know that 4 hoagies, 4 goes on the bottom. Look, I almost made that mistake, but I know that the hoagies is what's turning to 1. So 4 hoagies is $6.72, and I'm going to divide first and top in. 50, 672, 4 goes on the outside. I'm going to take that decimal straight up. 4 goes into 6 once, and I'm just going to talk you guys through this. 6 minus 4 is 2. If you're practicing this at home, guys, pause. If I'm going too fast, just pause, catch up, press play. I'm going to bring down my 7. I try to kind of go at a good pace because I know that I try not to have really long videos, because I know if you guys see like 10 minutes, 9 minutes, you're going to be like, girl, I'm not watching that. 4 goes into 27 6 times. 4 times 6 is 24. Oh my gosh, I ran out of space, y'all. Oh, we're left with 3. Bring down the 2. And 4 goes into 32 8 times. So which one would be the better buy? 3 hoagies or 4? 3. Look, $1.65, $1.65, 5 cents, $1.68. All right, here's our last practice question. So I have 20 ounces of cereal is $4.40, or 16 ounces of cereal for $3.68. So here we go. I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to set up what I know in fraction form. And remember, I want to find out how much 1 ounce of cereal is. So, I mean, you don't have to. You could, because it's 20 and 16, you just have to make sure that the amount of ounces is the same number. I don't want to confuse you, but I'll show you another way. So the ounces goes on the bottom, right? I'm just setting this up without like setting the rest up. So for example, the only, like, you don't have to go to 1 for the unit rate. You don't have to. You just want to find out like which one's the better buy, which just means if I buy 5 ounces of cereal and then I buy another 5 ounces of cereal, I'm going to know which one's cheaper by looking at the price, because I'm buying the same amount. So for example, you could think of a number that both of these could equal 4. You could go from 20 to 4 and 16 to 4. That way you're not dividing by 20. If you're going from 20 to 4, you would be dividing by 5. And that way you're not going from 16 to you're not dividing by 16 to 1. You would be dividing by 4. It's whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the unit rate. I will show you what I mean in just a second. So if I were to go from 20 to 4 ounces, right? How do you get from 20 to 4? You divide by 5. You divide by 5, right? And then how would I get from 16 to 4? Look, what matters is that these are the same number. I would divide by 4. What I do to the top, I do to the bottom. That would be helpful. I'm going to do the unit rate just because generally, oh my God, drop my eraser. Just because generally that's what you're learning. But you can do it that way. I'll do it that way at the end. So we have $4.40 for 20 ounces. I'm going to go ahead and divide it. Take it to the top. 20 cannot equal 4. If you put the 2 there, you're telling me that 20 times 2 is 4. Okay, and then 20 goes into 44 twice. That's 40. I'm left with 4. Bring down the 0, and it's 2. Okay? All right, I think I'll just make a short showing you the other way. And then down here, we had $3.68. We're going to go down to 1. I would divide by 16. Ooh, I'm about to run into 8 minutes. Oh, I'm at 8 minutes. Oh my God. Okay, that goes in twice, and that is 16 times 2 is 32. I'm left with 4. Bring down my 8. That goes into that 3 times. So which one would be the better buy? The 20 ounces. I hope this is helpful. I am going to put a short for the same exact problem showing you how to go a different method. Bye. Oh, I said bye, girl, stop.